So who talks first? You talk first? I talk first.
Ladies, gentlemen, exogorth species of the podcast is collapsing. Wait, this is no podcast age. Welcome to Hell of a Pilot episode 36. Yes. And, every single time I always say that with an upwards inflection. Yeah. Like, except 26, 24.
And then you 30? Look at me and Mike like, what episode is this? We're like, we don't know.
I don't know. I should really... Anyway, tonight, we're not at Mike's house because Mike is busy. Instead, we're at my new house, and I'm really happy that you guys are here with me tonight. On my left, of course, Lachlan Gillies.
He's saying that because we had just had a chat about him not being able to remember my last name.
And a new guest on our show. You are running the Good Games...
The Wave 1 to 3 League.
Yes.
Sort of running, just letting it stew at the moment.
Luke Weston, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello. Hi, guys.
How's that going?
Pretty good. So I had to drop out yesterday on the last one because of something came up with the missus. So I was like, okay, cool, I concede. Gotta go, guys. I felt kind of bad, but I assume it went alright. Yeah, I've got to look at the scores, and I'm keeping a tally of the league, and I need to see who did.
What's it like running an actual event like that, like a long-term event? I mean, I have some experience running a day event, but
it's been pretty easy, really. Like just say, hey, here's a time, just show up, guys. I haven't had to check anyone's list or anything. It's been pretty succinct with people, know what they're doing. Oh. Yeah, it's not as hard as I thought it would be.
Good.
I was very sad that I didn't get to go along to that, but I remember the Facebook post that went up in the X-Wing Melbourne group. Luke goes, hey, would anybody like to play an event that was only Wave 1 to 3? And roughly everyone went yes.
Everyone was very... Yeah, there's a lot of hype for it straight away.
That's excellent. Lachie, what are we going to talk about on the show today?
We are going to start with a discussion of the second edition Imperial pilots, which we got... I mean, everybody's getting all their information from the Bell of Lost Souls video.
This is nonsense. We deserve special treatment.
There's a Google doc as well with lots and lots of...
Oh, yeah?
Huge amounts of information. I've only just started looking at it today.
Is that the sticky post on Reddit?
I think, yeah. There's tons of stuff in there, and it's really well, like spaced out and documented. And
stuff. Yeah, right.
And yeah, that's part of the reason we got our good friend Luke along today, because I think you're an Imperial player, is that right?
Yeah, usually, so far. Palpatine's my boy.
Doesn't matter if he's been nerfed or nothing.
Yeah, you just have to think about when you're going to use him now, really. Yeah. So, I'm going to get shot, I better use it there.
Alright, what else are we talking about, Lachie?
The other thing we got is our lore section, as we always have, and we've put it off long enough. If you haven't seen Solo yet, that's on you. And
we're going to open spoilers.
Han Solo is the subject of our lore section this week. So rather than do a segment that was just us talking about the movie Solo, I'm going to do the normal lore section, which is about Han's early life in Legends, and then we'll sort of talk about what it is now in canon, and that'll blend very nicely.
Awesome. Anything else to report before we fire up this old machine, this beastie? No? Good. On with the show.
Good day, citizens, and welcome to HoloNet News. Here are the headlines in your galaxy today, beginning with the crime report. All Imperial citizens should be on the lookout for mercenary pilot Cad Solus, last seen fleeing the scene of a crime in the Outer Rim. Solus, a former slave adopted by a Mandalorian clan, was hailed by an Imperial transport in order to submit for questioning before leading the ISB on a high-speed pursuit in an agile Mandalorian Fang fighter. The commanding officer of the transport, Group Captain Beloff, had intended to interrogate the mercenary agent to see what he knew about freshly leaked details regarding Imperial agents and crew members. A similar dossier regarding known personalities within the underbelly of the galaxy's scum and villainy was also released in recent days. and it was hoped the two could somehow be connected. It was not possible for Belloff or the ISB agents to commence their inquiries, however, due to Solus's escaping arrest. Today's events are now an ongoing investigation, codenamed Bell of Lost Solus. In further crime news, the Emperor is pleased to announce that the net is tightening around the galaxy's few remaining Jedi, thanks to the efforts of his dedicated Inquisitors. Specially empowered to go above and beyond mere law enforcement agents, these noble warriors are exactly the kind of people we need standing between us and our dangerous enemies. Capable warriors, as well as tenacious investigators, the Inquisitors know that Jedi have supernatural reflexes, but they're not afraid. Inquisitors have an innate skill, an inborn goal, an instinctive aim to pursue their quarry, and their training has provided them with the heightened perception required to sense the foe and bring them to justice wherever they might be hiding. That's all for now, and unless there's an Inquisitor after you, we hope you have a wonderful day. This is HoloNet News.
It's something to behold, isn't it? Some of those jokes went over my head. I don't know why.
There's a lot of the force powers in 2.0.
Yeah.
That's what they were.
That was good. That was really good.
It's really there's not
all the heavy hitters in there.
Yeah, it's not a very intellectual process when it comes to writing the HoloNet News. It's like, how can I bring a list of all the new information in? We just kind of work around that. Like, puns, yes.
Poetry.
Puns, that's my baseline.
Absolute poetry.
So, shall we start with the Big Daddy himself?
My boy.
Alright, let's do it. Okay, Darth Vader.
So he's looking really good in second edition. I think, especially with the ability that he can just chain up to 4 actions and go through all his force in a winner, if need be, like to barrel roll. I think there's something that gives him a boost as well. It's not an engine upgrade, but it can take damage from it. I think it's got the art of auto thrusters.
If you take...
Like if you do a certain speed move, a bit like how
the
works in 1.0.
the force power supernatural reflexes, before you activate, you may spend 1 force to perform a boost or barrel roll action. Then, if you performed an action you do not have on your action bar, suffer 1 damage. So it's kind of in a similar vein to the restriction they put on the original Daredevil, except better. But I can't imagine. I wouldn't want my Vader to be damaged. Like it kind of sucks in second edition. He can't boost, but still.
Yeah.
I think people are just gonna have to try and play around that. Even then, though, essentially, you could take an evade. Well, he hasn't got the evade action, has he?
No, he doesn't have an evade.
I just realised that. Wow.
Yeah, he's got focus linked to a red barrel roll, target lock, and barrel roll. So he could do 3 actions in a turn.
Yeah, because I thought he would be able to like just take an evade and then just have like 3 soft focuses and turn up. But
I guess that sort of leads into the trying to avoid the token stacking.
Yeah.
With supernatural reflexes, he'll still be like if you have another guy with sense or something, which is essentially intelligent. You could just be like, okay, I know exactly where you're going. I want to barrel roll this way. A bit like how push Kylo is crazy.
I suppose supernatural reflexes is kind of advanced senses in that way.
Yeah. I think with the Inquisitor, the new Inquisitor, you can then link that into like a barrel roll into a focus, and then do the green maneuver. But I'm not 100% certain. Have we got an image?
All right, well, we'll open up the Inquisitors. We'll open up the Inquisitors now, because all right. Well, if we start here, we can go with a theory that I've got. The Rebels in first edition, the Rebels had their unique mechanic, the Astromechs, or unique-ish, because the Scum kind of had that. The Scum had the illicits, and you'd hear people saying, what about the Empire? I have a feeling in second edition, the Force is going to be most prevalent in the Imperial faction.
I think maybe. I know, and Vader and Luke are like the main Force users.
Yeah.
Inside like the first wave, Scum haven't got that, but then Scum
they got
a Sarge, but
they do have a Sarge. But they're like in the first wave, like they've got the extra ship, which is the new Falcon.
That's true.
Because then you've also got the Grand Inquisitor. So that's 2 like straight up pretty great Force users inside.
What I'm talking about though is they have just the Inquisitor.
Well.
They've got a generic Force user, which I don't think anyone else has.
No.
Oh, that's great.
So you can just make a squad of pre-move barrel rolling intel agent having Force spending Inquisitors.
And they could just laugh at anyone with a lower initiative than 3.
Yeah, I mean their initiative is middle of the road, but still, like, we don't know yet what other Force powers will come out.
That's essentially still 2 actions, like boost focus, barrel focus.
Yeah.
Before moving, which is
that is good. True. Actually, there's a lot of all 3 of them. Aside from the Baron of the Empire, they're all force sensitive, which is interesting. And this TIE Advanced V1 is pretty good.
All right,
Two attack out the front, 3 defend, 2 hull, 2 shield, and pretty much 2 force.
Unlimited crack shot. Every turn, which is pretty good.
Well, tell the nice people what Seven Sisters' ability is.
So while you perform a primary attack, before the neutralise result step, you may spend 2 force to cancel 1 evade result.
Oh yeah.
So if you get in a good spot where you don't have to use your force for defense or offense, you can just be like, well, that's going through.
That's a damn shame. Like, it's every other turn, which makes me think, well, how often are you going to be crack shotting every turn?
Well, if you take crack shot, obviously you can only use it once. But hang on, the force users can't take EPTs. So I've just realised. But I like the various charge mechanic, force or otherwise, because it lets them do a thing they couldn't do before, which is allow something to happen every second turn. Like, can you imagine the clunky wording in first edition? If it was like
counters is because people would forget straight away if like
if there was a special ability that went along the lines of every second turn you may, it would really annoy people. But
the game would just break. People would fall over. The world would burn down. Cats and dogs living together.
I mean, they could fix that with I guess like double-sided cards, but once again the world would end and they're ruining the game and all that.
So the
not you lovely listeners, you are all wonderful people.
Grand Inquisitor and Seventh Sister both have a force level of 2, but obviously one at a time recharges.
Lachie, what does a Grand Inquisitor do?
While you defend at range 1, you may spend 1 force to prevent the range 1 bonus. While you perform an attack against a defender at range 2 to 3, you may spend 1 force to apply the range 1 bonus. So that second part is the ability as it always was, except this time you spend a force to do it. But that's okay, because with a replenishing force user, you always have the force at least once per turn, because that replenishes every turn. So the Grand Inquisitor, every second turn, can use both of these effects. Then next turn they can only do it once, or you have to sort of let it charge up. Because
when would this apply? While the performer, while you defend at range 1, you may spend 1. Oh, it says to prevent the range 1 bonus. So like a range 1 missile or anything like that will still be able to fire at it because you're preventing the bonus, but if you're using a secondary weapon, it doesn't matter.
Unless it's one of the new secondary weapons with the symbol that says you can use a range bonus. Some of the secondary weapons have that now, but if you're fighting against somebody and they plop their X-wing down at range 1 of you, you spend a force, and instead of 4 shots, they only get their normal 3. For example,
that's almost like an evade, basically.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It is.
Not quite as good, but yeah.
It's evade-ish though. Like in second edition stuff that seems like it's not as good as in first edition, it'll still be good because in context.
They've moved everything down to just smaller, minute steps. Like every little extra millimeter is going to really count in second edition.
Yeah.
Like that one time you take a bar roll instead of a focus. Like that's gonna add up 3 turns later on and gonna cause some real problems.
I've been thinking a lot, looking at the new rules and the new special abilities and stuff. And early on, I was thinking, man, second edition is going to be so much harder than first edition. But maybe it won't, because everybody's going to feel that way. Like it's all the same for everyone.
I think it's going to be like in some ways it's going to be an entirely different game. There's some parts of it where I can see it that it is a completely different game. And then there's some parts where just like the forward planning and just making correct decisions. There's no easy mode in it that I can see. Like you could just do a 1 forward and focus with an X-wing, but if someone else is outpositioning you by getting a bar roll at a certain time to get just outside of arc or something, that's gonna.
I really like how they've pulled back on that whole boost barrel roll, which was pretty common.
Not for the interceptor. Ooh.
Yeah. Well, I think that's fair because that's what sort of made it famous, I guess. But then every other ship could do it itself. So my special snowflake is not so special anymore.
You were meant to be turned off.
Speaking of lovely interceptors.
All right. So there's only 2 named interceptors in the game now. So in the conversion kit. So do you reckon they'll make another interceptor box or something, and there'll be more named interceptors?
No.
It may be in the fullness of time. Not. It's going to be years, I reckon.
Yeah. No. They've sold their interceptors. They've got their interceptors. They don't care.
I think it's going to be something like the Aces boxes again.
Okay.
It'll be like an interceptor and a defender this next time coming out with a different paint scheme or something.
You reckon maybe they're trying to encourage not necessarily swarming, but people using generics?
The entire game is people trying to making people use generics. Like the Alpha interceptor, depending on the cost, everything in this is depending on the cost. Like a swarm of 5 of them would be pretty good. Where you got a boost in the focus every turn, essentially.
All right. Well, you mentioned what the interceptor can do now with the boost and the barrel roll. It's called auto thrusters. So what's that?
Auto thrusters. After you perform an action, you may perform a red barrel roll or red boost action.
Overpowered.
What?
Auto thrusters are overpowered. That was a joke, by the way.
Oh. Okay. Sorry.
I have no problem with this whatsoever.
I do like how they sort of brought that back. So, auto thrusters are stapled onto interceptors. They're stapled onto interceptors.
I think
they memed us.
Suntier goes nowhere without his auto thrusters. But yeah,
Speaking of Suntier, at the start of the engagement phase, if there is an enemy ship in your bullseye firing arc, gain 1 focus token. God, I love that.
Yeah,
That's cool.
It's going to make him that you're going to be really rewarded for getting people inside that bullseye.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, his old ability was every time he got a stress, he would get a focus token, and it was like, oh, okay, so I'm going to boost barrel roll, get a stress, got your focus token. With this one, it's like it's the same ability written differently, but hashtag get good.
They've taken away the turtling up aspect of I'm going to focus evade, get 2 focus tokens and evade token, and just dodge everything you're going to fire at me anyway.
Yeah.
So I was playing a game the other day, and I was like, okay, I'm at range 3 of your 2 dice attack. You can literally not hit me no matter what I roll.
Yeah.
And I think they're just trying to get rid of that. Where it's like, well, if someone's chancing around with a 2 dice attack at range 3, like, you shouldn't be there. You should be out of arc. Like, that's you could get punished. It's not a guarantee that you're going to evade that.
Yeah, I think they've certainly tried to pull that back in, and every dice roll is gonna count more. I think
that's one aspect of the game that worries me, is that I'm going to be there like, my dice, just complaining constantly.
Yeah,
because it feels like in this game you can get diced a hell of a lot more. Like whilst with the current game, because all the passive mods and stuff, you've usually got something going on to like.
Well, I think they try to get rid of all those passive mods to actually just encourage better flying.
Yeah.
I do agree that first edition had problems and even though some of the steps in second edition seem radical, like it's good that they took them. I have the funny feeling that maybe for a little while people are just going to fly Suntier for the pilot skill, and if that ability comes off, like, hooray, lucky me, but I'm not going to plan for it to happen.
I think he'll absolutely be used for his pilot skill. Like that is. As Mike would call it, like dogfighting on a card.
Yeah. Like, it's going to take a lot of skill to use Suntier. A lot of people have already started putting builds where he's using a new Predator EPT, which is again using the bullseye arc, and just double downing on the whole bullseye arc aspect. Because then you get a reroll and a focus token. That's going to be a pretty good.
That's fantastic, and with the boost barrel roll, you actually have a proper shot at doing that. But again, you need to be good at positioning. Let's move over to the defenders.
Mike, where are you now? Your kinsman.
I've always hated defenders.
A lot of people are very scared of them.
They should be. They're terrifying.
You can only get 2 of them in a list.
Good. I was playing in the days when you can have 3 and it sucked.
Yeah.
See, the defenders were a huge cause for concern, but then being the terrible person that I am, I would play Stress Ezra a lot. So when people would put a defender down on the table, I'd say, look, I see what you're trying to do, but no X7 for you. No. Yeah. But now I have to play the game properly. They're going to be scary again.
Yeah, I think if someone They're relatively predictable. I'm going to 4K.
Yeah.
I'm going to 4K.
Here comes 4K
I'm going to
again.
do a hard
Whoa.
3. Like you can play around that, and anyone whenever I'm building a list, I usually try and put like some kind of blocker in there, even like a particle TIE fighter or something. Just throw him in that spot where that defender wants to go, and they'll think twice about it.
How often do you reckon because this might have slipped by you people out there, but the TIE Defender has a 3K turn that's red. Do you reckon?
I thought it was a 2K turn that was red.
Oh, is it a 2K turn?
I think it's a 2K and a 4K.
Alright, well, 2K it'll be then. Do you reckon there people are going to use the red K turn?
Nah.
No?
No. I mean, you'd have to be in dire straits. You'd have to made a real big mistake. Need 2 red K turn.
I think it's
That was the B-Wing's problem.
Yeah, I think that's a last minute okay, and he definitely can't block that 2K turn, and I need to be facing the other way to run away or something like that. I think it'll get used, but obviously not nearly as much as a white 4K turn.
Let's talk about Countess Ryan. Mike's back.
So, while you would execute a straight maneuver, you may increase the difficulty of the maneuver. If you do, execute it as a K turn maneuver instead.
Well, that's just been a bit of a hard nerf.
Yeah.
But it's a nerf. It's not a hard nerf because
It just makes her not be able to turn over whenever she wants.
There's no you can because all her straights are green, so she turns anything to white.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, they're not.
It's just like the push the limit like ride, like where it's everything's green, nothing's green. You know, I've never seen a red turn in my life. Just, there's none of that anymore, and like because the ship doesn't have any linked actions. If the ship is stressed, like the ship is stressed,
good point. Yeah.
But, they'll still be able to do a K turn, but you just won't be able to. You'll still be punished for doing that hard one red, and then having to turn around the next turn.
Your repositioning ability in this is just for this ship is just not great, is it?
Yeah, but I reckon you could fly. I mean, even though this game doesn't have twin ion engine Mark II, which I think most people put on their defenders, you still should be able to fly it in such a way that it won't be stressed. So the fact that she doesn't have green K turns, I don't think that'd be too upsetting.
No, I think the value is still there that just any straight is now a K turn. Like you can have a 5K or you can have a white 2K now instead of that red 2K.
Oh yeah.
I think she's going to be really good still.
What about her pilot skills /
Initiative 4, it's above all the generics. She's going to be an absolute predator when it comes to eating pilot skill 1 or sorry, Initiative 1 X-Wings and whatnot.
Yeah. The way to convert 2nd edition to 1st edition is to multiply by 1.5. So her Initiative 4 would make her pilot skill 6 in 1st edition, which is actually higher. So this is actually a slight upgrade for her.
Good point.
Yeah.
Colonel Vessery. While you perform an attack against a locked ship, after you roll attack dice, you may acquire a target lock on the defender. A lock on the defender, not a target lock.
It's the same before. He's still just as strong, but I think target locks are going to be harder to come by. There's no fire control system for just I shoot you, I get a free target lock, and now my buddy gets a free target lock, and now he punches you. There's less of that. So I think that's probably the game has put a slight nerf on Colonel Vessery, but he is still like really strong.
What was his old ability?
It's exactly
the same thing, but
so why has he been nerfed? What are you saying?
It's been nerfed because whenever you flew Colonel Vessery, there's always something else.
Oh yeah.
So quick draw shoots, I get a target lock. Now Colonel Vessery has double mods for which you're not going to get anymore. Oh, you've got long range. I think there is some long range scanners here somewhere.
One of the Lambda guys who we'll talk about in a second, because I'm actually kind of excited for the Lambda. But Colonel Vessery, I still think one thing that hasn't changed is Colonel Vessery is going to enjoy flying with TIE Advanced X1s, because now they all have the advanced targeting computer built in. Yeah. They maybe don't want to spend their target lock, so Vessery, as long as Vessery shoots at the same target, actually maybe Vessery could be Bash Brothers with Marek Steel, because Steel wants to put the hurt on enemies to make crits go through to make his ability work. So Vessery and Steel kind of fly around using the same target lock and never spending it.
Yeah.
Makes sense. And Rex Labrath. After you perform an attack that hits if you are evading, expose one of the defender's damage cards. That's Not bad.
That is pretty good.
It's very, very, very good because you left out the bottom part of the card. Look, okay, so
You get a free evade.
full throttle. Look, it's basically X7, but every TIE defender has the built-in ability. After you fully execute a speed 3 to 5 maneuver, you may perform an evade action. So Rex Labrath at initiative 5, obviously the only thing higher is 6, so he's more likely to shoot first than to be shot first. So he's going to move fast, get an evade token. He's going to shoot you. He's going to have that evade token the ability requires.
Yep.
So basically, instead of his old ability, which was you have to spend your token to turn a card over, this one's like, all you have to do is not bump and you can give the enemy a crit.
You've got to hit, though. You've got to hit.
Oh yeah, it's true.
With the dulling down of shields as well in the game, I feel like that turning anything to any cards face up is going to be really problematic for a lot of ships.
Yeah.
And some of those crits are really horrible, like the fuel leak and stuff. It's harpoon condition, flashbacks.
All right, hang on a second. Those are titles. Can we go to Lambda Shuttle?
Okay. Go for it.
All right. So all the title, I don't know if they're necessarily better or worse than the first edition ones, but I think all of the Lambda pilot abilities are at least interesting.
Yeah.
So, Lieutenant Sai, who's new, after you perform a coordinate action, if the ship you chose performed an action on your action bar, you may perform that action. So new Lambdas have focus, reinforce, coordinate, and jam. So Sai is pretty much always going to coordinate a focus onto the smaller fighters, so they can use their abilities to reposition and be focused. So Lieutenant Sai's basically got super.
Decimator.
Oh yeah, I mean you could reinforce. You could both be reinforced, but what I mean is that coordinate. The drawback to coordinate is you're losing your own action. So Sai's basically got super coordinate in the sense that imagine if there was an ability that you can coordinate and get a focus. That's what this guy has.
So how often do you, like, whenever the first action you want on any ship is usually a focus token. And so I'll coordinate my focus, get myself a focus, and then they'll do like
whatever they want.
Yeah, whatever they want, like a barrel, evade, something kind of a focus evade.
It also has 3 firing out the front and 2 out the back now.
Yeah.
I dig that.
Finally, they're still relevant after they get passed.
I love the old model that actually had a gun on the back and it just did nothing. It was the broomsticks from World War II.
Yeah, exactly. Literally the broomstick thing.
Yeah. So as soon as I saw that the second edition Lambdas had a rear firing arc, I bought my first Lambda Shuttle. I don't know if I'll get around to flying it before second edition comes out, but I've got one for when I want it later.
So imagine something really slow and quite painful to turn around. And like, you're already there, really. Like you think, oh, I'll do a hard turn. No, I'll just spend 3 turns doing one bounce because. Yeah, at least I've got more actions than just focus attack. Because I feel like now the Lambda can be much more relevant.
Yeah.
Besides, the gun is a proper support ship now. The jamming is great. Like reducing anyone else's action, is fantastic. The coordinate's fantastic. Pilot skill 11 coordinate's always been pretty good.
Do you think do you think the Lambda Shuttle will have the cannon slot? It does now. Do you think it will in future?
Probably, I think so. I don't see any reason why not.
Why not? Yeah.
Especially because like the sort of sliding costing scale as well. Like if an iron cannon on that thing is too good, they just go up. So I think it'll have a cannon. So I don't know how many crew slots it's going to have. I feel like thematically 2 crew slots was pretty low, but then 3 crew slots is pretty busted. So
I guess the only problem with three slots, I mean, which the Decimator does have, but the problem with 3 slots is you can have something plus Palp.
Yeah.
Like Palp on his own is fine, and a combo of 2 other people is fine, but probably Palp and someone else would be a lot.
Yeah, a bit too much.
So let's move over to Colonel Jendon, and I was just looking at this, and you know how Lachie, you were saying that this game has gotten a lot more difficult. I just realised this is going to be a lot more difficult to teach.
When we're at PAX.
Well, when we're at PAX or in general, like, hey, those are cool spaceships. What do they do? And you try and teach someone, and then you look at how many numbers are on Colonel Jendon, and then you're like, oh, there's actually a lot happening on this card now. It's 321642.
I feel like the monkey looking at the controls of like a space shuttle, like. What?
I mean, yeah.
Also, I just learned that Colonel Jendon is Darth Vader's shuttle pilot.
Oh, you didn't know that?
I did not know
I
that.
love the little flavour text on all of them.
Yeah.
There's some of them are just really sneaky. Oh, yeah. Just
Have you got a favourite one?
I think so far I was listening to another podcast. Sorry, guys.
Oh.
The other day, and they were talking about the new Falcon. And I think for the exploding bomb...
Oh, yeah, set to blow.
Yeah, I think it's set to blow. It says some manufacturer's warnings are meant to be...
Yeah.
I think that was really good. A bit of tongue-in-cheek.
Yeah, you're still a fan of the...
The IG-88s.
Yeah.
They're the best.
Oh,
they're the best.
like
the conniving contraption. Yeah.
Clever.
So Colonel Jendon, it's going to be about when you use his ability.
I wouldn't say what the ability is.
Oh, didn't you do that?
It's-
Okay.
No,
It's pretty
it
wordy.
just said how difficult this game is to teach.
Just complaining about numbers and I got all
Basically.
distracted. Alright, at the start of the activation phase, you may spend 1 charge. If you do, while friendly ships acquire locks this round, they must acquire locks beyond range 3 instead of at range 0 to 3. Now, he has 2 charges that do not recur. So this ability you can use twice per game. But, let's face it, everybody is just going to use it first turn.
Yeah.
I think it's... Yeah, twice is enough. You'll definitely get the use out of it. If you're getting use out of the second time, I think the game's going very well for you.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if Colonel Jendon, the likely friendlies he's going to have around are sort of mid-PS
TIE advanced, I think.
ordnance carrier. TIE Advanced?
They all want that. They all want the...
Oh, they do, don't they?
They want the, and because unless you're Vader, you're not going to get more than 1 action per turn because they have the link, like focus tiger lock linked action. So
Oh
I
yeah,
think
and that's okay.
pretty
Well,
good. Oh yeah, bombers. Yeah,
that's much more.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what
I was leaning towards bombers. So like at the start of the game, essentially your opponent's ships enter play with target locks on them, and then your bombers creep up slowly, and then they take a focus action. They've already got target locks, and boom, they fire all the good explodey things.
Yeah.
Because that's always
The
been.
opponent disappears.
Yeah, exactly.
Welcome to 2016, the meta.
I'm pouring some out for Captain Yor though. I can't see him here.
But we have Captain Kagi,
Captain Kagi.
the Emperor's shuttle pilot. Oh, step up here, boys.
Snubbing off Colonel Jendal. Yeah, you got the Colonel and the Captain, and the Captain's more like responsible with looking after the Emperor. Okay, that's...
At the start of the engagement phase, you may choose 1 or more friendly ships at range 0 to 3. If you do, transfer all enemy lock tokens from that chosen ship to you. Oh, I love this.
That's good.
That's so good.
That's literally snubbing his nose at Colonel Jendon again. I see you're trying to kill him. No, sir.
So I suppose if you've got Palpatine on a shuttle, you're trying to keep it out of arc. So if this shuttle is out of arc, and the enemy is going to shoot a friendly, and then they're modified with a target lock, you put the target locks onto Kagi, so they're wasted.
Yes. What it does is puts a giant target on Captain Kagi, but like, is that such a bad thing? Would you? I would much prefer it on Captain Kagi than it is on top of what?
I've just remembered the shuttles have the jam action.
Yes.
So Captain Kagi is ship. The enemy has a target lock on a ship you really don't want to die. So Kagi jams them, takes away their focus, and steals their target lock.
Yeah.
So the ship they wanted to attack and were fully modified to attack, they now have nothing.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I love it.
Like I was just thinking, there's nothing like countermeasures I've seen so far. Oh, look, there he is. It's pretty. It's really similar to his like first edition. I remember playing against it once, and I was like, I want to get his missiles off, but I've got to waste them on that stupid shuttle.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not insignificant. The hell
That adds
six.
up.
6 and 4.
It's like I've got to shoot bigs.
Yeah,
I'm not going to waste my
That's actually a
time.
good point. It becomes bigs.
So I love the legacy.
You might as well waste your shots on the shuttle whilst the rest of you guys are just making work around.
I love the legacy that Biggs has. Like he's one card. He was a character that was in one movie for a little while. Probably nobody's favorite movie character, but it's the Biggs effect. Like it's bigger than the guy. It's the Biggs effect. So the title ST321. After you perform a coordinate action, you may choose an enemy ship at range 0 to 3 of the ship you coordinated. If you do, acquire a lock on that enemy ship, ignoring range restrictions. So you can get a target lock on someone you're out of range of if the friendly
it's a little bit
is in
wordy,
close.
isn't it?
Yeah, after you perform a coordinate attack, you may choose an enemy ship at range 0 to 3.
Of the ship you coordinate.
Okay, so it's just like
So it's got to be just that little bit further out to get that to work.
God, I do not see that being used.
Unless it's really cheap, like half a first edition point or 1 point.
Yeah,
Because there's none of the 3 named pilots have an ability that require target locks. It's purely an aggressive bonus for your shuttle.
Sure,
that begs the question: is it going to be an ordnance carrier?
No. No missiles, no torpedoes, cannons maybe. I guess what they're trying to do is FFG don't want a ship sitting in the background.
Yeah,
just
okay.
They don't want any
floating.
Dengu and Manaru just doing hard ones in the corner doing a focus generation.
Yeah, they want the ship to get involved. So maybe they figure, you start with your shuttle towards the back, then get a lock and move it in.
I just feel like if you're gonna, it's counterintuitive to your first engagement because you obviously want all your ships shooting at the same thing the first round. Like if your shuttle is just out of that range band.
No, yeah.
I guess you get a target lock for the next time, but it's not going to be as good. I don't know.
I
I guess we've just got to see it in practice and see how much it's.
Let's move over to the Punisher, the ship that
The one?
Yeah, the big bomber, the one that had more bombs, but no one used. And are they still going to not use it? I don't know. Let's find out.
You know what? I reckon Argerios is just going to stop using the Punisher now. It's good.
Actually, yeah, one of the guys we regularly play with, he uses the Punisher even now. He's quite good with it as well.
It's really, he captures you off guard because he's got like squad leader Vader nearby. It's like, yep, okay, I'm out of range of all of those bombs except that Vader comes in, coordinates the action, and then he drops the bombs. Like, okay, I guess that was.
Oh no!
Thanks for that. Yeah.
Let's talk about Death Rain, metal soundtrack here. After you drop or launch a device, you may perform an action. It's kind of cool.
It used to be just barrel roll, so now you can.
He's got a boost.
Now you can bomb and focus, bomb target
boost
lock.
focus with a link.
After you drop, where does this come in? After you drop or launch a device, so you launch a missile.
Trajectory simulator.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is only about bombs or mines or whatever, and it's in a different phase now. It's not after you. It's not after you move.
Before you move. I think it's at before anybody moves. You like launch it. The thing is, you could launch a device and then instantly reload that device.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I think it's very significant that the reload is white. So if the enemy is behind you and you can't shoot them anyway, you don't really care about the weapons disabled token you get for reloading. You can just bomb forever while they're behind you.
That's where your damage is coming from. Just running around dropping devices left, right, and centre. I imagine it's also going to be more of a control effect in the second edition. Because everyone can see it, and like your TIE swarms and like, I won't take a focus. I'll bar roll out of the way of that, and then get a decent shot, sort of thing.
And then move, and then boost, and then be out of range. And laugh and great.
And the Punisher only has one level of generic as well, which I think they've moved away from a lot of redundant pilot cards that nobody really used or needed.
Well, they've still got the same in like the TIE fighters and stuff like that. They've still got like the Initiative 1, Initiative 2, Initiative 3 ones. Yeah. But I think that they're for flavour, really, yeah.
Move over to Redline. You can maintain 2 locks after you're performing an action. You may acquire a lock.
So acquire is different to perform the action. So if you perform the lock action, you get 2 locks for it.
Yeah, right.
So,
that makes sense.
But you don't get 2 if you take the other one passively. So if you, as an action, perform a focus, you only get 1 target lock of the possible 2 you can have. But it's still good because the strength of Redline's less about bombs than missiles and stuff. Because if you have 2 target locks You spend one, you still have one to reroll when you fire your secondary weapon. But even that...
you spend the lock on someone else?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you... But
God,
even
that
if you
makes
don't
no
have
sense
the...
thematically. I fire my missile at this guy.
Oh, no, I mean,
No.
you have 2 target locks on the same person.
You can... Oh, yeah.
The new proton torpedoes, you don't even have to spend that. I think it's mainly useful that you can take it just says after you perform an action, so you can take a focus and then acquire a target lock.
Actually-
and get double mods on someone.
Are you allowed to have 2 locks on the same person? The old red line you could.
But I think it's also really good for that. I'm going to lock you and you
Yeah.
in like 2 separate ships.
That's what I was thinking.
And then that's quite good because then you're like, I'll just do one back to the left and then catch one of them. Finally,
Yeah.
so I'll go for the next one.
It must be that. So I'm still thinking of the first edition version. You probably can't have 2 locks on the same person. Oh well, at least you can...
I think he's going to be pretty scary because the munitions are they look really good.
Yeah, well, even aside from that, the best possible aggressive combination is a focus and a lock, and you get a lock for free for taking the focus action. So red line's going to be very easy to modify.
It's also really good for like doing a bit of a naughty check range, like you used to be able to do in the first edition. Focus. Nah, we're just out. It's fine. Until next time.
Let's move over to the tie.
The strikers are all largely the same, aren't they?
Yeah, I think they're pretty similar. Duchess is better.
All right, we'll talk about just Duchess then.
I'm really looking forward to flying strikers again. So Duchess,
I love the striker.
They are fun. They are fun.
they are
right.
really good.
They're fun to fly against. I've never flown one because I'm not an Imperial player, but they're really fun to fly against.
So where are you going to be?
Yeah, it's good. It's so good.
It's good because the strikers, like, I only played Imperial a little bit. I loved flying them because it was fun to fly them, but they weren't very good. So it was like, there's only so much enjoyment you can get out of the game of just moving the thing around. But if it's fun to move and they're going to be good to use, then that's a win. Anyway, so what's
so Duchess panel ability? You may choose not to use your adaptive aerodrons, and you may use your adaptive aerodrons even while stressed. So it used to be that you could just choose to or to not do the one boost and whatnot, so you could slow roll a bit with Duchess. But now that you can do it when stressed, like you can really motor with Duchess now. If you do a K turn, it's like, I don't really want to be here. I want to go elsewhere. That's a really good buff. And I think the pilot skills, she essentially stays the same. So the initiative 5, I think she's going to be really good.
Surprised they didn't add a third green dice to this.
That's true.
I think the striker really should have been 3-3-3.
Yeah,
but,
it really should have been.
But they obviously didn't want to make the ship identical to the Interceptor.
Yeah.
Well, it's not. I don't know.
At 3-3-3,
I feel like it
is
should
really
be
similar to
3-3-3,
Interceptor.
but whatever, you know.
But I think
Armchair.
because red dice are essentially getting brought down a level or two. But that's why lightweight frame was brought in, because it was just
Yeah.
You reckon 2 green will be okay?
It's okay enough. But if you're flying Duchess, you just don't want to be an arc.
Do you reckon... Is there a lightweight frame in this game now?
Not yet. My prediction
seen
is if we see lightweight frame again, it will be the name of the baked-in ability on the TIE SF. Next time we see lightweight frame, it'll be unique to the First Order, and it'll be on the TIE SF as it's a baked-in ability.
I see that.
That's my guess.
All right, let's move over to the Phantoms. Oh,
My Bay.
One of your favourites, I think. Is that
yes.
Phantoms.
Echo, Slippery Trickster.
Wasn't there a rumor that one of the in canon, one of the TIE Phantom pilots was a droid?
I have no idea. I remember when I first got into X-Wing and I saw a TIE, I was like, I've seen that before. I remember playing a PlayStation 2 game.
You played the game?
Where there was TIE Phantoms and stuff. I was this is sort of weird flashbacks. Because, it was one of those dodgy sort of off-a-market stall sort of games. It wasn't one of
What are you talking about?
yeah.
You seem like
A reputable kind of
That's
dude.
the one, I can't say that word.
But, the TIE Phantoms, like in the game, I love them so much. Echo is my favourite. I used to fly 2 Phantoms and a TIE Fighter, and then they all died. and now I'm just hoping and praying. So Echo is essentially exactly the same.
Yeah.
You must decloak using a 2-bank, which makes then the Slippery Trickster, which is the little flavour text. With the Phantoms, I'm a little bit worried with where they've gone with them. I'm just hoping that they fly in a very specific way, because they've got rid of the
4 green dice, four red dice.
The 4 red dice. So like that, you had a 2-hole two shield ship, like the forward dice. You had to do a candle at both ends sort of thing.
So I've just brought up a picture of the dial. Now I'm not very familiar with the TIE Phantom. How similar is the second edition dial?
They've added 1 banks, and I think that is it basically. They've added yeah, because it used to be just basically a TIE fighter dial without a 3K.
Oh yeah.
So now they've got the 3K. Yes, they've added the 3K and the 1 banks. The 1 banks is a big thing. Being able to, like, they used to call it the L, where you'd go like backwards to the right and then do a hard one to the right, and like just sort of weird, mind-boggling positioning. That hard one makes a really big difference.
So I've got to say, as someone who is usually being killed by the Phantom, the new Stygium array seems a lot more balanced. How does it feel as a person who would usually use...
So how is that? Let me just
So after you decloak, you may perform an evade action. At the start of the end phase, you may spend 1 evade token to gain 1 cloak token. So the Phantom, by having the evade token, is always a bit more slippery than your regular ship, and you can cloak again sort of easily, but you have to spend that token for it. It was always very frustrating fighting against a Phantom that was essentially always cloaked.
Yeah, I think if you're flying anything below like Pilot Skill 9 or Pilot Skill 8, it's really hard to hit them, especially if they're running Palpatine or something like that. I always found, like with Echo, like it's just gambling really, because sometimes those dice just don't want to. just try not to get shot. But I feel like with where the Phantoms are going to go, it's just going to go straight to the highest pace again and not getting in arc at all, so that you can have that evade token to recloak next turn.
Speaking of, his Whisper. After you perform an attack that hits, gain 1 evade token. Her old ability, she could gain a cloak token.
It's a focus token.
A focus?
So she'd get the focus for defense. So like a lot of people do is they take the evade as an action, like gonna shoot with fire control system to definitely hit at some point. Then they'd have a cloaked focus evade for defense. I think that's good for her, because then like, you got 2 evade tokens. You can spend 1 of those if need be.
Yeah, I was about to say
Whisper will be a little bit more forgiving than the lower pilot skill ones.
Her ability to recloak is going to be much easier because she has 2 evade tokens to use instead of 1. Now, here's something that I have maybe missed. Do we know in 2nd edition, are you allowed to spend 2 evade tokens in the same batch of green dice? Because at the moment you can't do that.
I don't think so. I think like they've just released the new rules. Actually, I haven't had a chance to read them.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, that came out today.
That came out today.
Literally came out today. From the quick glance that I've seen, like it essentially looks like the same game with different pieces.
Oh, good.
But I don't think you'll be able. Yeah, I think they'll have the same sort of rules for multiple spending stuff.
All right, let's hit it with the TIE Fighter. I'm surprised the TIE Fighter's last. I mean, that was totally on purpose.
Well, the bombers. We got to do the bombers as well.
Bombers first.
We'll get through them
Bombers
quick.
first. Listen, bombers first. Oh god, there's actually a lot more to do.
The Decimator as well.
Yeah.
All right. So, Deathfire seems kind of fun. After you are destroyed, before you are removed, you may perform an attack and drop or launch 1 device.
Hilarious.
So, all right. The ship is sinking. Fire the last missile. Drop a bomb. It just boom, 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 boom.
It's like just falling.
Open some sherry and slowly fade into the abyss.
I feel it's like tripping with a hot coffee in your hand. That's a shame. Like the first edition Deathfire was really fun. Like, I'll do a barrel roll or drop a bomb. Like, it's I guess that does take away a lot of your agency, which they're trying to really stop you from doing in 2nd edition. I think that'd be fun. I can't see it being super competitive unless you've got that clutch Tiger Lock prone torpedo attack to really.
Let's keep moving. The Major Rhymer. While you perform a torp or missile attack, you may increase or decrease the range of requirement by 1 to a limit of 0. Enter 3. That's
okay.
Ooh, you can do that. Well,
you can touch. Yeah. So if you have prockets or cluster missiles on Major Rhymer, I touch you, I shoot you.
That's naughty.
And they can't shoot back.
That's awesome.
So Major Rhymer is supposed to be an aggressive close range bomber.
I
love it.
Really, that's quite scary.
And because Major Rhymer was always one of my favorites, like in theory, but he just didn't get on the table all that often because Major Rhymer was really expensive. But I reckon the temptation to be able to ram and shoot missiles is going to be pretty strong.
Okay, moving on. Captain Jonas?
Yeah, Captain Jonas.
Captain Jonas. While a friendly ship at range 0 to 1 performs a torpedo missile attack, the ship may reroll up to 2 attack dice. It's okay.
However, for bombers,
Yep.
missile people.
It's
Not amazing.
slightly better than it was before. It used to be at a friendly ship up to range 2, so you have to fly closer now than you did before, but the old Captain Jonas couldn't affect himself. This one can.
Just while
So-
a friendly ship, yeah, okay.
Yeah, and so you can...
Saves you spending that target lock on.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, spend the target lock on the missile, because you have to fire the missile.
Yeah.
And they've said definitely missile or torpedo as opposed to because people used to fly around with TLTs.
Yeah.
Because it just gave you free
Yeah,
TLT reroll.
so that's why it's not just secondary weapon anymore. But yeah, I like the idea that you could bring just Jonas if you wanted to, and everybody else could be fighters or interceptors or something, and Jonas could be.
both a support ability.
Since it affects himself, that's actually not too
Yeah.
bad.
Pretty good. It's pretty good.
Moving on.
Tomax Bren.
Yes. After you perform a reload action, you may recover one charge token on one of your equipment. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay, sweet. So you perform a reload and then you can get it back again. So he's infinite missiles.
No, it's more like, so his old one was with the crack shot. So you reload and you get your crack shot back as well as your torpedo missile.
Yeah, his ability used to be a single-use EPT that was flipped over. He could just flip it up at the start of every turn. So
Which was fun, by the way. That was fun.
oh yeah,
It was alright. It was pretty good.
put adrenaline rush on him, turn him into a TIE defender.
I'm the defender now, right?
Yeah. So Tomax, you don't just get infinite EPTs. You have to take the weapons disabled for it. But they're trying to bring everything down.
Moving on to the Decimator, we have 2 generics.
So I've heard that
Just the one.
That's the one?
Yeah, there's 2.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
I've heard that the Decimator is going to be a very, very, very different beast compared to what it was like in the first edition. It's no longer this large base that can boost out of arcs and whatnot. It's a bit more like how the Ghost is, if you know what I mean.
It just has to get
it's
shot.
just a tank.
Captain Oiken, you can perform primary attacks at range 0. That's sick.
That's pretty good.
Love it.
Like the Dauntless as well, that you can bump into someone, I'll get stressed and take an action.
After you partially execute a maneuver, you may perform one white action, treating that action as red. So
It's like a focus range attack for just crashing into someone.
That's sick.
So you put that
That's pretty
title
good.
on Oiken and you crash into them and shoot them with a modified attack. Okay.
Yeah, okay,
Is
I
that,
like
is that
that.
an odd initiative where he's very happy to get bumped, and I guess
What was his old ability? I remember it was very bumpy as well.
I think if you bumped into someone, you did them a damage.
Yeah. No, if they bumped into you.
No, if you bumped into them, if you run into
because
someone,
you run into them, right?
because
Yeah,
you
yeah,
could give
yeah.
them Daredevil as well, and then like double bump with Dauntless. It was
I want Oiken and Reimer to be friends. Just both of them. The entire strategy of that squad is just bumping and shooting and bumping and shooting and bumping and
I
shooting.
dig that.
Can't touch me.
While you perform, Rear
Rear
Admiral
Admiral
Shiranu, while you perform an attack, if you are reinforced and the defender is in your front firing arc, it's such a big firing arc, or rear firing arc matching your reinforcement.
Sorry, those aren't firing arc
Those
symbols. Those
front
are
halves and rear halves.
Yeah, sorry. Defender is in your front half or rear half matching the reinforced token. You may change one of your focus results to a crit result.
so that's
good.
That's
Yeah,
a
that's
bit of a
pretty
balancing, I suppose, of his ability.
You've got to make a correct decision to get his ability to work, basically, and it doesn't work if you're not reinforced.
How much health did these old...
They're about the same. 12 hull and 4 shields are the same. But they're now they're the tankiest of every ship. I think the Ghost has been really shaved.
Really?
Yeah, good. The Ghost is down to like four shields and 10 hull, I think now.
I thought it had a whole lot less health than this.
Actually, this is weird, I reckon, because Shirano, his ability before was only kind of NPE when combined with Kylo, which is impossible now. And I thought they wanted to make second edition kind of all about the crits. So you would think that they would allow you to
Yeah, I think
his ability to stay the same.
They've got to. Like, it's just for free though, isn't it? It's just passive modifiers for free. They're trying to make it that you've got to earn whatever you get. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So the gunboat chassis and pilot abilities are basically the same. The only things that have really changed is the titles. So the arsenal loadout is fairly similar. When you have exactly one disarm token, you can still perform torpedo and missile attacks against targets you have locked. If you do, you cannot spend your lock during the attack at a missile and torpedo slot. So it's slightly brought down in the sense that if you slam and as your action reload, you'll have 2 weapons disabled tokens, so you can no longer shoot.
I assume advanced slam exists in here somewhere.
Yeah, I think it does.
So you can't advance slam for like a focus or a lock after doing a slam.
Yeah, and your attacks, if you choose to do them, will be slightly less accurate because you can't re-roll them. But
I still
but
feel
the cannon title is much better. Sorry, what were you saying?
I feel like the gunboats, they were usually like just more efficient in the first edition just by not bothering with the titles.
Yeah.
Like, especially with the harpoon missiles and all that sort of rubbish.
The cannon title is definitely better. While you have exactly 1 disarm token, you can still perform cannon attacks. While you perform a cannon attack while disarmed, roll a maximum of 3 attack dice. So they took out the terrible cannon that no one used, and I can't even remember. It doesn't exist in second game. The flechette cannon.
No.
So now I take this to mean that you could still fire HLC. You would just only be allowed to fire 3.
Yeah. So you could still fire the HLC, but that's only in your
That's in bullseye.
That's in
bullseye arc. Yeah.
So, I guess that. Well, what other cannons are there?
Ion cannon.
There's going to be an ion cannon.
Yeah, ion cannon would be pretty good.
But I guess what if you want the ship to be purely aggressive, just shooty shoot, you'd put HLC on it. But they've capped the amount of dice you can fire out of it.
I feel like I haven't seen any kind of mangler cannon or anything.
Yeah.
So there's nothing where it's just a straight up upgrade to your primary attack sort of thing.
If they do bring in the mangler cannon, they might even make it only 2 dice or something. It just changes one into a crit. But okay, now I think finally it's just the TIE fighters.
Yes.
So I could tell you exactly what's changed. Nothing.
In terms of the stats, they have no linked actions, but fair enough.
They're very basic. The new pilots are worrying a lot of people because of how Halrunner.
Why?
Because Halrunner affects herself now, and Idian Verso.
Halrunner. Oh, I forgot to put a picture of Halrunner on here.
And Halrunner is just Halrunner's ability, except also affects herself.
So it's
That's sick.
0 to 1 instead of just range 1. So like she affects herself now, and then Idian Verso is basically. How does it read? Before a friendly LM fighter at range 0 to 1 would suffer
1 wound or more damage, you may spend
suffer one. Yeah.
1 charge to prevent that damage, and she gets one charge of that.
Yeah,
it's a typo. It's like
there is a typo in my notes.
Basically, you're paying for a second Halrunner because you so someone's got to shoot Verso because otherwise they're just wasting your attacks on other TIE fighters.
But it's for 1 charge, it's all the damage. So Versio is essentially 2 ships.
Yeah, because you get to see the dice first as well.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. It's like, I'm going to take 3 hits on the crit. Okay, that's not going to happen.
No.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah, that's actually I dig that. Well, especially if it's cheap.
Yeah.
If it's cheap, then like whoa.
I'd probably pay like if I was. I'm looking at flying some TIE swarms. It looks really fun.
Yeah.
I will take it. Halrunner, and I will pay the Halrunner tax of a surprisingly a much more expensive Idian Verso just to keep Halrunner on the board.
Yeah.
Because if she lasts like a second joust, that's crazy. Like the amount of efficiency you get out of that is just crazy.
All right, moving on to is this Gideon?
Yeah. So Gideon Hask, while you perform an attack against a damaged defender, roll 1 additional attack die, which makes sense because in the single-player campaign of Battlefront 2, Hask. It's not bad. Look, it's short. It is short, and EA are devils.
It's a good weekend.
Almost every like Xbox game's like campaign short these days.
Yeah, that's true. But look, it is a fun game. I did enjoy it. There's a boss fight where Hask, he's trying to kill you and you're in your TIE fighter and he jumps into a TIE interceptor and you're like, oh my god, and you got to fight this interceptor, and then you blow him up and there's this big reveal at the end of the game. It turns out, spoilers, whatever. It turns out he didn't die and he's an old man and he's joined the First Order and you're like, no.
Oh my god, that is a great twist. Like he comes back and just finds your husband.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It just kills him.
Yeah,
it's like great. It's
mind blown. My brains are dribbling out my ears. This is
The thing
also, the husband of your character is a character you've had for the entire game, and he's been like your wingman, and he just straight up murders him.
Yeah.
And not nicely either.
No.
I like how they just this brief explanation. Yeah, he just jumped out the last minute.
Yeah. Exactly.
No, it doesn't matter.
Kind of like reflexes.
It's
yeah.
Husk, like, come on.
He plays the actor who is his voice and motion capture is the police officer in the show Arrow. So,
is it?
Yeah. So that's the thing that blew my mind when I found that out. I was like, didn't I blow you up?
I've seen you.
The worst part about it is that, alright, maybe I'm going on a tangent here, but like, as soon as he walked in the door in scene 1, episode 1 of that game, right, I was like, he's a baddie.
Yeah. It's something about his face.
Yeah.
All right, so actually, one thing that's really cool is all the.
He's talking about Wampa, but
Yeah, don't go away from Wampa.
All right.
don't you shortchange Wampa.
Okay.
After you perform an attack, you may spend 1 charge to roll 1 additional attack die. After defending, lose 1 charge.
1 recurring charge.
Yeah. So
Again, another big style ability. It's like, I've got to shoot Wampa first, otherwise it's going to hurt me a bit more.
Yeah.
Because that extra red dice is I don't even know what the maths is on it, but it's fantastic compared to just 2 red dice. For nothing, basically.
Oh, yeah.
It's punishing you for not shooting Wampa.
You have to shoot Wampa or else they'll get that extra dice. Yeah, I dig that.
Guess who's keeping Wampa alive? Nigel Vessel.
So, Hask's ability, who when attacking a damaged defender, they roll one additional attack die. Del Miko is a sort of similar but opposite. While a friendly ship at range 0 to 2 defends against a damaged attacker, the defender may reroll 1 attack die. So that both of these pair really well with Saint Marantna, who I think had Wampa's ability from first edition. When you perform an attack, you may spend 1 crit result. If you do, deal 1 face down damage card to the defender, then cancel your remaining results. So some of these TIE fighters, or at least 4 of these TIE fighters, are all initiative 4, which is cool because it makes formation flying easier.
Yeah, right.
But also, they work together thematically. So Sane shoots the enemy, gets a crit, automatically punches damage through. Gideon and Del work against damaged enemies, and the Howl Run attacks, i.e. Iden Versio, keeps Sane alive. So these 4 working together, and Del allows to work on a friendly as well. So if you can get enough of these named TIE fighters in the same list, like it's jank and it's very handshaky.
A friend of mine,
That's fun though. This entire game's going to be fun.
a friend of mine, Andrew Garrett, he's the first person I brought into this game with. We were playing board games and we played this game once. So I was like, oh my god, I'm going to play this game forever. This is what he flies. This is actually what he flies. A series of TIE fighters. He hasn't changed in like 2 years.
Okay.
A series of TIE fighters, all with different abilities, but just lots of them. And you're kind of like, which one do I fire at? Because I don't remember all their abilities. Like, don't worry, I do.
All right.
So, I'm sure Marlon Mithel's in there somewhere. I better shoot him first.
Yeah, but then it's like Hell Runner, but like do not, or he was. That I guess that brings it to the end. Let's move over to lore. Wow, it's been already over an hour.
To defeat an enemy, you must know them. Not simply their battle tactics, but their history, philosophy, art.
All right, so here we go. Lore section about the person who is my favorite Star Wars character. Han Solo has been...
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
My absolute favorite Star Wars character. He has been since I was about 6.
Oh, alright. I didn't know that. I've never met anyone whose favourite Star Wars character was Han Solo. There was always like top 3.
He's always top 3. He's pretty cool. He's pretty suave. He's a scoundrel.
So what did you think when they announced there to be a Han Solo movie?
Okay, here's the weird thing about the Solo movie. Like, I am a critic, a pedant, a terrible person. So
Because you're a critic doesn't mean you're a terrible person.
No, I'm just adding that.
Okay.
Rule of 3 for comedy.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. See, he knows. I feel like the movie Solo was unnecessary. Is my word for it. I did enjoy it. I'll probably watch it again. Like I say a lot of like really picky negative things about it just because I'm naturally critical. I did enjoy it though.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. Like it was fun.
Yeah.
And like there was bits in it which I thought were unnecessary.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was a good film.
Yeah, I don't think people should.
so.
I don't think people should avoid it, but also it probably didn't need to be made. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
Like, basically, if someone says they didn't like Rogue One, I'll tell them they're wrong and I'll fight them. But if someone says,
we are actually gonna get messages from people saying Rogue One's the worst ever.
Rogue One was really good.
Yeah.
Rogue One.
But I guess what I'm saying is, if someone said, even though I did like it, if someone said they didn't like Solo, I'd go, okay.
Yeah,
fair enough.
But alright, so in Legends, Solo was orphaned on Corellia and raised by a criminal named Garrus Shrike. Now, I think I said in a previous episode, just kind of riffing off the top of my head, that he was raised by Talon Karrde. That's wrong. They're about the same age. But so Garrus Shrike was the guy who raised him. So I won't be getting into the Solo family. The Solos are a famous family on Corellia. It's an ancient house on Corellia kind of thing, which Han was not aware of until he was much older, and there's no time, so we're not going to be discussing that tonight.
What's he now?
What?
What is the Solo family now?
In Legends, they're very sad because a lot of them keep dying. But as I say, that's
in canon.
Bad
joke.
In canon, yeah.
It was a mediocre joke. I wouldn't say it was bad. No, it was like, that's it.
Did I just? Oh, okay.
All right. So Shrike is kind of like I've been reading Oliver Twist lately, and by the way, please nobody tell me how it ends. Even though the story's 180 years old, I still don't know how it ends. Garrus Shrike trained street kids to be thieves, kind of reminiscent of the character Fagin, who, another Star Wars connection, was once portrayed on film by Alec Guinness. Anyway, so Fagin was a guy, an old guy who. He trained kids to be pickpockets, and what he would do is he would put on a big heavy coat and put valuables in the coat, and the kids would have to steal all of the items without him noticing, and if they did, then he would reward them and send them out on the street to steal money for him.
Reward them with life-giving food.
Yeah, exactly. That's in Oliver Twist. I mean, so Han did that sort of pickpocketing practice on a droid. And they lived aboard the Trader's Luck, which was Shrike's ship. It was a troop carrier from the Clone Wars. So obviously a troop carrier ship is pretty big, so it could fit a lot of people on it. And it was parked in orbit above Corellia, and that's where they lived. So
that's cool, by the way. That's really cool. I dig that.
Yeah. So Han, part of his thing was, even though he was raised by a criminal and lived the life of crime while he was young, he from a very early age was resistant to the idea of prejudice in a number of its forms, because he became friends with the ship's cook, a Wookiee named Dulana. He met her when he was 9, and she became sort of a mother figure, because Shrike was kind of a father figure, but also he was terrible. Nobody hated him. So yeah, Dulana, the mother figure. So she's the one who taught him to speak Shriwook, which is the language of the Wookiees, and the kind of thing that I know because that's the sort of person I am. Which I prefer that to, and one thing I liked was that they could understand each other, even though neither of them was physically capable of producing the language of the other. They could understand what the words meant to hear them. Like I prefer that to what happened in Solo, which was him somehow managing to actually speak Wookiee. But like, don't do that.
I think all of them were just sort of like, it was like Winglish sort of thing.
Yeah.
like Spanish, English, and Spanglish.
Yeah.
Like this is sort of weird mixture of in between. So I can sort of portray that this is a stick.
Yeah.
Let's use the stick.
Yeah.
That wasn't cool. I actually like what you pointed out there about how he has like a mother figure in this Wookiee, and the Legends version. What'd you say? Yeah, Shrike. Shrike is this kind of person who's like a thief and blah 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 blah. But in the canon, it's sort of flipped, where like the matriarch is the that worm thing.
Oh,
and
yeah, I get you.
That's the mother figure.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's just interesting.
All right.
I feel like they could have showed a little bit more of that in the film.
I thought they were going to.
Yeah.
I felt like there's the barrier, okay, and now she's gone, okay, cool, no.
Yeah, and he breaks the window and the light comes through and hurts her, and those other creatures put on those masks to protect themselves from the light. And I thought, oh, okay, incoming Chekhov's gun. Later in the movie, he's gonna kill somebody with light, and just no.
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't even notice that.
What I did really like about the intro, the opening scenes of Solo, was just like the sort of the dark, dingy. It felt like a bit like Blade Runner.
It was very
like, it was just like I think like it was really well shot. Like just like fate, like looking at him through while he was driving. Like you look up above, it was like, oh, that's a Star Destroyer. Like that's how they're made. Okay,
yeah.
I thought I really enjoyed the opening bit. I was like, this is an insight into the real world sort of thing. A bit like how Rogue One did it.
Yeah.
Which was this little insight into what like life is.
Just as a complete bit of a physics nerd, I really appreciate that they were building the Star Destroyer in orbit, because you cannot get a Star Destroyer off a planet.
Yeah, it wouldn't be able to take off.
No, he just couldn't. Any amount of force, it just would not happen.
All right, so
I was going to say one more thing. It was the other thing I really dug about the opening shot of, or the opening part of Solo, is the stormtrooper who was just doing his job.
Yeah.
One guy like, no, stop it.
The traffic cop one.
Like you can imagine, he's like the doofus of the entire stormtrooper. He's like, oh great, I'm on Corellia now. Like,
I didn't get that.
Speeding miscreant.
I didn't get that from him. I just thought he was like, this is actually what stormtroopers normally do.
Yeah.
That's kind of their job. It's just, they're also the sort of horrible people. They're just like, but actually the majority of them are just cops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so Julana and Motherfigure. So children on board the Trader's Luck, they only got a really basic education because Shrike probably did figure they didn't need it. But Julana ensured that some of the kids got a bit more education, particularly Han. She made sure that he knew about maths and science and stuff. And when Shrike was doing long cons and he didn't need Han for any reason, Han would actually sneak into schools on Corellia and pretend to be a member of respectable society and take lessons. Like, so he probably, he just sat at the back and kind
breaking the rules to get an education.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean,
I've never seen you before. How dare you even speak to me, you peasants?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, it's probably school is not cool or anything like that, but also it's where you learn stuff, and learning stuff makes you smart. So I don't know. Now he did this partly to increase his own knowledge, but partly to defy Shrike. I guess he would just sort of do anything to annoy the guy. So Shrike was violent and temperamental, and also a criminal, which is bad. And Han didn't want to be a criminal anymore. So at 19, he planned his escape. But he had to say goodbye to Julana. So he went into the kitchens to talk to her, and Shrike went in there and found them, and he tried to shoot Han, but then Julana jumps in the way and sacrifices herself to save him. And he said to her, I'll stay with you here while you're dying. And she said, look, if you do that, this has all been a waste of time. You leave now.
That's
and
cool.
So he did, yeah. So Han, he escaped to a planet called Elysia, where he got a job smuggling spice for the priests there. So I remember, because in all the time we've been doing this, one of my favorite lore sections was one of yours, Owen, talking about Greedo, making the point where Han, in the original, in the movie in the 70s, when we first see him, Han is a bad person.
Yeah, he is a bad person.
Yeah, so he just shoots in Greedo. So also don't forget, Han was a drug dealer.
Yep.
That was his job,
Yep.
that spice that he was driving
that's
around.
Why,
that's
okay, all right.
Yeah, Han.
Right. He's a bad person, and throughout throughout episode 4, he decides to become a good person. And I guess we'll talk about this later, but it drives me nuts in the freaking...
No, in Solo.
Yeah, it drives me nuts.
So he gets a job smuggling spice for the priests on Elysia. So the thing is, on Elysia, there's a cult of these workers. I forgot what they actually call themselves, but the people get told, go to Elysia, it's paradise, you'll forget your troubles. But all that we ask is you do a little bit of work for us while you're here, you know?
Do a bit of work. Don't need this. Eat less protein. Get really tired.
Yeah. So
Stay forever. Never leave.
yeah. So what they do is there's the priests were a quadrupedal species called Talanda Till, and the way they rewarded you with something they called exaltation. It was just kind of this throat warbling thing. They produce this kind of sound that in other species it produced an addictive euphoria. That it's the mating call of the Talanda Till. So if they do it to each other, it attracts a mate. But if they do it to someone of another species, they get all high and get addicted to it. So these workers, they go to Elysia. The priests get them addicted to this sound they can make on cue, force them to mine glitterstim for them.
Yeah,
And that's what they do. So there were no guards on Elysia protecting the operations because there were no riots and no revolts, because the pilgrims, as they were called, they end up being like semi-willing slaves.
Yeah.
So Han meets a slave called Bria, who he gets a bit of a crush on and rescues her. Now, anybody who's read the Han Solo series of novels will know there's a couple of other characters, Merg and Marav and stuff, and for time I'm leaving them out, but they're there. So Bria had wealthy parents who she was kind of running away from because of reasons, and when Han rescued her, Bria's dad gave them some money as a reward, like thank you so much for rescuing my daughter. But Bria still considered herself to be an addict and just left him a note one night saying, look, you're better off without me, and she disappears. So Han, who's obviously very sad about that, he keeps the money and he joins the Imperial Academy, because that was always a dream of his, and he excels at it. He does very well.
All right, let's move on from there back to now lore. Not legends. The
Real
Canon, the movie.
canon.
canon,
Yeah. So how do
Yeah.
you feel about that? The change from him starting the academy.
That part doesn't bother me. Look, in the movie,
I think just letting any schmuck off the street, literally some random schmuck without a name, off the street into the
army, yeah.
Into the academy. I was like, really? That easy?
So that was actually
I actually
one
got that,
thing. That was one. Okay.
Because it shows off the size of the empire.
And they was like, I don't even care. You come on through, yeah.
So look, I did enjoy the movie Solo because I just thought it was a fun story, kind of a fun adventure. But what I didn't like about Solo is something I don't really like about Hollywood and prequels in general, is I don't need to know the reason for every single thing that happens. Like in the movie, Han, his name is just Han. He doesn't have a surname.
Yeah.
So when he joins up, they're like, you must have a surname. Do you have a family? He says no. So this guard is like, oh, okay, you're Solo. Your name is Han Solo. I hated that.
Yeah.
Absolutely hated it. I was like, you know why his name is Solo? Because that's what his name is.
Yeah.
Like, and the other thing was, we found out the origin of how he got his pistol. Turns out some guy gave it to him.
Like, you need a gun.
Yeah.
And, here's my rifle. I'm just going to take the barrel off there. That'll work it.
Like his gun is a Blast Tech DL44. Like it's just a gun. A company makes them and you buy them. Like,
there's nothing special. It's like, he's a bounty hunter. Of course he's going to have a gun.
Yeah.
Maybe he gets attached to it because I guess you get attached to a gun. But you have to whatever. I don't know. I just
It's like my Leatherman's always on my belt. I'm always getting Leatherman.
Stay tuned for the movie about Luke's Leatherman.
Or at least a 20-minute special. Question. So next part we move on to. He starts working for the Imperial Guard. The Imperial Guard. He starts working for the Imperials as a pilot, and they kick him out apparently. In the movie.
Yep.
And then he becomes a stormtrooper or mud trooper.
Not quite a stormtrooper.
Is it a mud trooper?
I don't know. I never heard the actual name for it, but it was definitely some sort of grunt in the mud.
Yeah.
Not quite. I guess they're trying to make the stormtroopers out to be more like elite.
Also, why is that particular scene super dark?
I think it's just trying to show you the dynamics of it. It's a bit of a flashback to like World War One, like trench warfare. It's like it is horrible. You cannot see. Then there's an explosion. Then there's a dude doing cool pistol whippy.
Yeah.
Okay, this might surprise you, but from what I've read, because I read a lot about this sort of stuff. Apparently, one of the of all the movies that portray war, one of the most accurate is Forrest Gump. Because Sorry, were you about to say you haven't seen Forrest Gump? Get the hell out of here.
No, I've never actually seen Forrest Gump.
Everyone in the world has seen Forrest Gump.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry, I've never actually seen it.
Okay, all right. Well, look,
you
the
don't see
normal
the
person in
enemy.
the room.
You don't see any
exactly.
of the enemy.
So there's the scene where there's just stuff, there's just action happening, explosions of bullets flying out of nowhere, and there's no people because you don't see them. So what I'm trying to say is that the scene in Solo that you're talking about, it like, not emotionally or whatever, it is literally dark and there is not much light in that scene. I interpret it as being, it just was supposed to be vague, like there was an enemy somewhere and you couldn't see them.
So I'm
you just
confused.
I really loved that. I really loved it. It just seemed odd that it seemed to be like a cute summer movie to take your kids to, and it's like, oh, by the way, there's a scene where you see a guy evaporate because he gets shot from a blaster that he doesn't even see. It's like, come on, man, we have to go do it, and then just dies.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, sick. Love that. And then there's a bit written, and then it's like, oh, you wearing that coat that's covered in bullet holes.
That's
Who just
pretty
steal that? I love that.
Yeah.
But the context is really dark. It's just like there's a group of people.
I can sort of see how he got kicked out of the camera because he's just a sarky. It's so sarcastic. It's like, aren't we the invaders?
Yeah,
that was good. That was good.
It's like, where'd you steal that from? You're obviously, like, what are you doing here? Obviously, like, it shows he's a bit switched on, but he knows he's switched on. He just
and of course, he gets thrown into the pit with Chewie, and like that was
kind of dumb. Like,
it was dumb.
Like, why is there a Wookiee in a pit? Why?
Reasons.
Because of reasons.
Also, that's a murder pit. That's like, we're here are some prisoners we don't know what to do with. Feed them to the Wookiee.
Well, I don't think it's necessarily prisoners. I think it was more like, you don't follow orders. Yes, it's pretty horrible here, and yes, I know getting killed by the enemy in this mud pit is horrible, but it's either that or the Wookiee. What would you rather do?
Even though I really didn't like the concept of just the Wookiee in the hole, while I was sitting there not liking that scene, I did, despite myself, laugh at the "there's a beast" line. Like, throw him to the beast. There's a beast. But as for, characterizing him as just sort of desperately joining the military to find his girl again, I didn't mind that. It was fairly similar to how it
he just
originally
joined the military so he could get out of that airport.
He sort of
Basically, yeah.
I did that.
shanghaied himself and like to get out of
Yeah.
to escape the
Yeah, I didn't mind that part of the movie at all.
Yeah. All right. So he does really well and gets to the point that the rank of lieutenant. So he's on a mission. The Imperials board a slave ship where there had been a riot. All of the crew had evacuated except for Chewie. All these Wookiee slaves had overthrown the Trandos, killed everybody, and scarpered. But Chewie's left because someone had to fly the damn thing, and he's pretty badly wounded.
So the Chewie was like a crew or a slave?
He was a slave,
okay.
but the Wookiees overthrew the crew, and crew dead, Wookiees gone, Chewie stays. So Han's CO, Commander Nicholas, orders Han to skin Chewie.
What?
And Han detests slavers, and obviously had a soft spot for Wookiees because of how much he loved Julana, and he hated the idea of being a slave to anybody because of the cult and his experience on Elysia. So he refuses that order, of course. He's kicked out of the military. He and Chewie are conscripted into slave labor, building, doing work on the Hall of Heroes, this kind of military monument. But they eventually escape from that, and Chewie, as you know, swears a life debt to him. But in the early days, Han is kind of annoyed by this and wishes that Chewie would just leave him alone. It was essentially, look, I didn't do it for you, I did it for Julana. I'm glad you're happy and everything, but leave me alone. And Chewie had to teach him that's not how this works.
No.
Yeah.
No, life debt, man. Come on.
Yeah.
I might be 400, but
Yeah. So from there we'll kind of jump around a little bit. So Han and Bria they looted the priests on Elysia, and he sold all that stuff and he made a whole pile of money. He entered a Sabak game at a little place called Cloud City, and that's where he wins the Millennium Falcon. So,
Well, okay, alright, going back to canon, what do you think about the scene where he gets the Millennium Falcon / doesn't get the Millennium Falcon? What do you think?
I was happy with that. It's set Lando up as being kind of a shyster, a cheater.
It showed up. I think it was a really good introduction for Lando, and I think
it was.
Glover's Lando was really good.
Yeah,
Like it was just suave, cocky. Like it was just,
He wasn't Billy D. Williams, but like I think that's a good thing.
yeah.
if anything, a Lando movie featuring Han would probably have been a better thing than a Han movie featuring Lando. But anyway, I guess it's good because we got a bit of bad Han becoming good, as you said at the start of A New Hope and moving onwards. But Lando was never really seen in The Empire Strikes Back. Never really saw him as being a bad guy at all. But in Solo, Lando, you see some of his bad side.
It was in like Empire Strikes Back. It's a bit more like DJ in The Last Jedi. So I'm just
a little bit
just taking care of business. Sorry guys. Like
We don't speak of that movie. But
Alright, so-
that's Pavlov's gun. With the cheating from. Is that
What?
Pavlov's
The
gun?
trope Chekhov's gun.
Chekhov's gun? Thank you. Sorry, I'm thinking Pavlov. Anyway,
At the end of Solo where he tries to use his cheating thing and it doesn't work.
Brilliant.
I thought it was Lando,
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was quite good.
Yeah, that build up over like the course of the entire movie, worth it. Really good. Well done.
I was happy with the physical cards as well. Like even though like in my head when I close my eyes and picture Sabak being all digital cards that change, like I think that's kind of cool as an idea, but I think it would have looked really cheesy to watch in a movie. So I'm actually really happy with that small change.
Cost of a small fortune.
well,
as
yeah, that too.
just to try and put something inside a real person's hand.
So back in Legends, as we know, Boba Fett famously hates Han Solo. Part of the reason for that is because he was never really able to properly hunt the guy or collect the bounty. So the priests from Elysia paid Fett to kill Han. But Jabba, who Han had worked for quite often and had made a reputation for himself as being incredibly good at his job, Jabba was like, this guy's my favorite, I'm going to pay you to not kill him. But then,
really?
But I just want to kill him.
Go on. I need to get on that money train. Someone pay me to not kill you. Just.
Jeez, we've known each other for a while. I thought you were going to just not kill me as a matter of course.
No, not if I'm not getting. If I get paid, then I promise you I won't kill you.
To be made,
Luke, I need to borrow some money. But so, Fett having been paid to both kill and not kill Han was kind of frustrating, but obviously, as we know later on, Jabba changed his mind and said Fett could kill him. But yeah, so Han lived on Nar Shaddaa for quite a while when he was a young guy. Nar Shaddaa, the smuggler's moons, where all the criminals live. So Bria at one point seeks him out and meets him there, and he's like, "Wow, I'm really happy. I'm so excited to see you." She's there to hire him and some of his friends, any smugglers that he knows, because he, in a short time, became famous for being an excellent smuggler, made a lot of friends, a lot of contacts. So she hires him and all of them to raid Elysia, because she hates that place, as you would expect, and she promises them all a great deal of riches. So they go back, they rescue people, they steal stuff. It's a hoot and holler and good time. After the mission is over, she robs them.
Sick.
Because she's joined the Rebel Alliance and they needed the money, and she,
There's kind of some crossovers here from Solo film.
Yeah.
The Alliance kind of robs the criminals after they've done a lot of work.
That is an accurate summary of the film. And Lando, who refuses to believe that Han didn't know Bria was going to do that, punches him out and says, "I never want to see you again." So that, I think, is supposed to be a reference to, good smuggler, you've got a lot of guts coming here after what you pulled. I think that's. But yeah, so now just a little bit about Bria, and we'll finish off. So she, and I don't know if this inspired Rogue One, but she was part of the strike team that stole the plans for the Death Star. So Kyle Katarn gets shafted again. But so Fett, on and off over the course of a few years, is hunting Bria, and she once asked him that if he killed her or ever found out that she had died, all she asked was that Fett tell her father what happened to her. And Fett, who in a weird way is an honourable man.
He's a real honourable dude from the Bounty Hunter books and stuff. Like, he's a pretty straight cut fella.
Oh, I absolutely recommend, if you can track it down, a comic book called, I think it's Blood Ties.
Yeah, you showed me that.
Amazing. It's so good.
It's
so
new,
good.
isn't it?
Oh, I'm not sure how new it. But yeah, it's just. I never really thought of Boba Fett as cool until I read this book, comic book, which I really want to spoil for you, but I won't.
So in the Bounty Hunter's book, there's an interesting where eventually, like after, like the Return of the Jedi and stuff, Han's part of a racing circuit, and Fett, someone puts a hit on Han again, and Fett, being like an older bounty hunter, goes after him, and they sort of have this big showdown on this planet. They're chasing each other, and they're both like have got their guns on each other, like they run into each other around the corner, and like point blank range, like if one of us shoots, we're both gonna die. It's like, okay, and it's like, I can't remember exactly what they did, but it was basically like, I'll turn around and run this way, you turn around and run that way, and then we'll start again. But yeah, that was really good.
Yeah, but that's what I was going to say. Oh yeah, so Fett just through contacts in the underworld finds out that Bria was killed on the mission to steal the Death Star plans, and he decides to follow through on his promise of telling her father. Now he doesn't know who her father is, but he knows someone who does. So Fett seeks out Han for two reasons. One, to tell Han that Bria has died because he will know how to tell her father, and also because he knows it'll make Han unhappy. So yeah, even though they hadn't seen each other for years and he was kind of over her, that yeah, it did kind of hit him pretty hard. So yeah, her squad were the ones who retrieved the plans to Death Star. So yeah, that was kind of Han when he was young in the early days, and yeah, after that he takes, as you know, takes the job with Luke and Obi-Wan to just make some money to give to Jabba, but then, as Mike would say, history happened.
Some crazy kid caboodle goes down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Alright, I'm going to get on my soapbox because, hot damn, this pissed me right off. In the movie, he has one character progression. Well, I'm going to say the movie episode 4. He has a character progression, which is he was a dude who was in it for himself, and then he becomes a dude who wants to help other people, and he comes and saves Luke in the last minute. Okay, that's his character progression. He kind of gives up the bounty and helps the rebellion. You know, that's his whole thing. The reason that's good is because it's not part of his character. The Solo movie makes that exactly his character. It's like, you go back at it and you go, yeah, that's exactly what he would do, because he's already done it a couple of times. So it's like, oh... It just, to me, like, watching the Solo movie and then going from the Solo movie to episode 4, it
doesn't feel like a surprise
anymore. It doesn't feel like a surprise. I mean, like, everyone has seen episode 4 and everyone knows he comes to save it. Like, yeah, I get that. But standalone, by itself, episode 4 and Solo movie, it ruins that. It ruins that character moment where now you have to think, would he have shot Greedo? Was he a bad guy?
I agree that Luke, it probably possibly shouldn't have gone that way, but I suppose the way they would justify it would be in the movie Solo, he's still young, so maybe his heart hasn't really hardened yet. Maybe he hasn't really done enough bad things yet to be a really bad guy.
How old is he supposed to be in episode 4?
He's like 30.
And how old is he supposed to be in Solo?
I don't know exactly.
I'm going to say roughly 25.
Oh, he's meant to be younger than that, I think. Like,
what, 20? So what, in 8 years?
Early 20s.
So in 8 years, he's hardened up and then he softens again. I don't know. It just drives me nuts.
Look, if you spent 8 years in a job you really dislike,
really, drug smuggling,
really hardens you up.
But look,
this your wish.
I really just want to help kids, apparently.
I just want to burn the place down, shoot Greedo.
I don't know. That was my soapbox.
But also, let's not ask too many deep questions of Solo, because it had Maul in it for some reason,
which was awesome. So good.
It was a really nice touch. It was like, oh, wow.
Oh, yes.
Why has he got a lightsaber? Why do you have the lightsaber? Does he need to do that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That was like it's strangely gratuitous where it like turns on the lights. I was like, why?
Something bad will happen.
It's just like why?
Yeah. Don't forget I have this.
We know, bro. We know, but you don't.
I'm gonna hunt down Obi-Wan Kenobi and get killed in 3 seconds.
I mean, how? Oh my god.
Is he really the real? Well, I can't. I messed with that.
I loved it. I actually really liked that. Aside from that ignited lightsaber, I'm like, we know who you are, dude.
I think that was just because a lot of people didn't. People who don't know Rebels and that is alive and stuff. It was like, does he have a brother? Is that his cousin?
Oh, that
his cousin.
Like, a lot of people were like sort of didn't know who this. Well, but he's alive.
I thought they gave that away because he had robot legs, and they made that shooting like the shot wise. It's like there are robot legs. The dude's alive. Like I like that, but. What was it? There was something else I was going to say about it.
So I didn't like Kiora as a character. I feel like there's a lot of her.
Who?
The
Kira.
Kiora.
That's she just seemed like a random.
I think after they split up and then he joined the academy, I feel like she did not have to come back in the rest of the film. Like she could have just been a faceless, like sort of
another guy.
Like, it's like his motivation, but you don't need to keep seeing that motivation. They didn't have to run into each other. It's meant to be a really big universe like this.
It was pretty silly the way this guy was like, nobody knows who the
big boss man is.
Yeah, the big boss man is like, we're gonna have this secret mission that can't be tied back to me. So I'm going to send you on the mission, Kira. Everyone knows who you are, and you can be tied to me. So, wait, why are you saying
here's a good idea.
Yeah, but anyway.
All right. Aside from all that, what do you think about the Beckett solo showdown? Because hot damn, I loved it.
I thought it was good.
I liked that. It was like, I was gonna shoot you.
Yeah, I was gonna. You tricky solo boy.
tricky
I really hurt my thumbs. By the way, I loved that. Absolutely loved that. Only Woody Harrelson.
I think Woody Harrelson was a good pick for that.
He was.
What was the name of the forearm? Alien dude.
The forearm pilot.
I can't remember.
Also, best character in that movie. That dude was super cool.
What I didn't like was everyone keeps saying, "Oh yeah, you can really fly." Kids like, "Yeah, it was Han Solo. We know he's pretty good."
Yeah, we get that.
You don't have to keep telling us, you know.
Yeah, I did kind of like the bit where the four-armed guy was wearing that loosely wearing stormtrooper. It reminded me of the scene in Space Jam, where all the little creatures are pretending to be a guy in a jacket while they're watching the basketball game. That's a very niche reference, but anyway, that's really all.
Well, I was thinking more Men in Black 1 when that weird alien's pretending to be that Spanish guy, and you could sort of see his another arm come out.
Anyway, I guess that wraps up that segment. Good. I'm glad we got a chat. Finally, got to talk about Solo. Okay, final thoughts on Solo. Yeah,
it was good, fun. I won't look into it too much for like really great canon and history and stuff, but I enjoyed it. I'd watch it again.
Yeah, I liked it. I will watch it again. The little problems that it had don't make it worthy of the hate that it's getting. And also, let's all be really nice to Lucasfilm so that we can have an Obi-Wan Kenobi movie. Okay, thanks, bye.
I liked the movie. I probably won't watch it again, but I don't tend to watch movies more than once.
Oh yeah.
I don't see how much hate it's getting.
I think, considering how many like production issues and whatnot.
Oh yeah, it came out.
It wasn't a dumpster fire. Like it was pretty good for it could have been a hell of a lot.
It was a solid C+.
Yeah.
I mean, a huge budget, but whatever. Like it could have been a whole lot worse than it was. I think it was fine. Looking forward to the Obi-Wan movie. Hopefully, maybe if they don't pull the plug, but they kind of already have, but maybe they haven't. No, seriously, they are flip-flopping more than footwear the same way.
Well, yeah, I mean, when you told me that the next Star Wars anthology movies were cancelled, I googled it to find out what you were talking about, and the first hit was, movies not cancelled after all. I was like, oh my god, internet, calm down.
I think I heard that they're kind of going to just slow it down a bit. That it's not like every 6 months here comes a Star Wars movie. It's like maybe every 2 years.
I think it's every year. Like now, it's starting to become a bit much. I think they tried to release it at the same time as 3 other massive massive films.
Deadpool and what else?
The Gauntlet Man.
Oh, Infinity Wars.
Infinity War.
Well, that was stupid. Yeah.
If I come to think of it, like when did Solo come out? Was it May?
Yeah, it was. Labor Day.
Yeah.
America.
So Star Wars movie comes out less than 6 months later. Another Star Wars movie comes out. That would have had part of it. It was timing. Like if Solo had come out later in the year.
Yeah, I think it should have been a December release, and it should a year is a good timing for.
I'm just hoping that the next movie is good, is better, and they have less troubles. I mean, come on, they've had a couple of duds, so here comes. Come on, Star Wars, I believe in you. All right, let's move on to close the show.
Why, you stuck-up, half-witted, scruffy-looking nerf herder!
It's the end of the night. It's about 9 o'clock, and it's amazing because I don't have to drive home because I am at home. Fantastic.
You didn't know this, but Luke and I are staying.
Well, the couch is quite large. As we always like to do, it's time for some shout-outs. We'll try and keep them a bit brief because this show's been going for over an hour and a half. Because goddamn, we love X-Wing.
I think it's okay to do a long episode now and again, but all right. So look, it's been pretty quiet lately with one thing and another. So we're just going to say hello to the last. How many people have I got on this list? The last 5 people who liked us on Facebook. So hello, Jeremy Latimer, Will Eldridge, Mason Kinsey, Amy Ward, and Archie Scott. A particular hello to Archie Scott because when you run a Facebook page. There's this option that's really kind of tacky. You can ask people to like your page, and every so often I go through and do that, and it's not very common that people use that specific invitation to like the page back, but Archie liked us because I asked. So thanks Archie.
I've seen that. Like when anyone likes your picture, just beside it says send invite.
Yeah.
So you like, I was like, oh, I feel dirty for doing this.
just every now and again I do that.
This one's mine. Dave Case says he's been listening for a couple of months and said to say thanks today because he powered through all of our episodes and suddenly there were none left.
I think I did that when I first found you guys. Let's go back to the beginning.
And the horrible recording, and we were sitting on milk crates. Wow, we're on a leather couch. By the way,
I don't know. There was something very Australian about sitting on milk crates.
Yeah, and that Australian thing is that we stole them. Shout out to 2 people who we've already shouted out to recently, but Bruno and Marcus. Because they sent us presents and they recently arrived.
They are very, very cool.
Okay, so Bruno sent us some stuff from Quebec and Canada. It is cool. Like it was these alt art pilot cards. So I forgot to bring to show you guys. They're in French, but they're still cool. And Marcus, who he actually did better than we said. We said he was gonna print some of our memes out. He did better than that. He made Imperial crew cards out of all Monty Python characters. all 2.0 cards that we can use, by the way.
sick!
No one expects the Grand Inquisitor.
Yeah, and Darth Vader was the Black Knight. The Knights of Ni are the Death Troopers.
Still happy about our bomblet generator being the Holy
Antioch.
And so here's the thing: he sent us more than we need. So if you are good with Photoshop and you can make us card ideas of other movies that you think would be good as 2.0 compatible cards, send them to us and we'll have a look. And if we really, really like one, we might send you something back.
Because we're just that type of person.
Yeah. Also, thanks very much to Jamie Cooper, who is always sending us updates. I don't have to follow FFG's Twitter because Jamie does it for me.
All right, these are from Podbean followers, aren't they? Oh yes, we try and shout out to our Podbean followers because that's the people who listen to us.
Also, if you are not listening to us on Spotify right now, why not?
Yes, God, get some of that. Matt Burr 57, World War I Flying Ace 1C21, all one word, and PBG 186 B2C8. I mean,
That looks like something where the bank said, like, you should use this as your password.
yeah. That's just a really good password.
Yeah, I will remember that every time. I'm not just going to write this down on.
I don't know. Do you reckon anyone actually knows those names? I mean, probably the World War I flying ace. 1C21, but yeah.
Yeah, awesome.
And yeah, I guess the only other shout out is, look, Mike, we love you, we miss you. Come back soon. Luke, did you want to talk to anybody?
Yeah, I want to say thank you to the people who have been coming down to the Monday night Melbourne X-Wing League. We've had a fair few people who sort of disappeared, like a bit fed up with X-Wing First Edition, and have come back for this little, like...
Do you reckon they'll stay for second edition?
Yeah, I think that's what a lot of people are waiting for, basically. And it was a nice little send-off. I want to say thanks to the Perfect Swing guys for giving me the inspiration to move it over here. Because that's where I originally did the league, and it was really successful over there. And
Good.
Cheers, guys.
Well, thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you very much for having me.
I hope you've enjoyed yourself. I don't have much more to say.
Call your mum.
Call your mum. Thank you, everyone.
If you're really lazy like me, just send her a WhatsApp and wait for her to call you.
And on that bombshell, good night.